how don't we address those things? No, I mean, we do a lot, but the core of it is that we're your control plane for security and access. So what does that mean? It means that every user and machine has an identity in our system, and every piece of hardware and infrastructure that you have or cloud account that you have has an identity in our system. And then using roles, you connect those two things up. So I'm a user and I want to access the development or the production environment, a database, run a query. I can request that access or have it. And we do all of that using short-lived X509 certificates, cryptographic identity, so that no one, if a developer's laptop gets stolen, then there's nothing to steal on that laptop because it's all short-lived. And we do that, I think there's this inherent tension between security and productivity. And what we're really proud of is that we do all of that and make it easier for developers to still get their job done. Yeah, so as I was saying, every user has an identity and every machine has an identity. And basically using roles, you say what people can access. What you don't want is for people to be able to access everything all the time. I used to be a platform engineer and it was so easy to be like, oh, you need to run this query, all right, here's write access, and then forget to take it away for 3 months, right? And with Teleport, people can make access requests and say, hey, I just need to run a query against prod, I need 15 minutes of access, right? Or I just need to be able to access this pod for a little bit to make sure nothing's wrong. And someone else in the organization can approve that request. You can have a requirement for 2 people to approve it. Someone can jump in on that session and make sure that everything that's happening is good and expected. And then we have really comprehensive auditing, because having trust and zero trust, a zero trust environment is really not just about trusting the people in it. It's about, after anything has happened, being able to go back and confirm, be able to go through an audit and be able to quickly answer questions for it, be able to see, afterwards what someone did. So we record sessions, we have comprehensive logs, and it lets the security team, the platform team really keep control even after things have happened. So I mentioned the roles, and the roles are the core of policy, right? But what you really want to be able to do is, let's say in the worst case, there is a breach, right? You want to be able to see, what did this person have access to? What do they have access to right now? And can we stop them, right? So we have the ability to lock sessions and lock identities, where you can say, nope, this role, this user, this identity is locked down, or this machine specifically is locked. Nothing can access this machine for the next 15 minutes or forever, right? We also have an access graph where you can very quickly, so Cloudflare got breached recently, very famously, and in their blog about it, they put hundreds of people hours into trying to figure out what the attacker had access to. With Access Graph, that'd be 5 minutes. You can literally say, here's the identity of this attacker, and we'll show you visually everything they could have had access to, and they could have gone digging from there. So it's about being able to lock things quickly, being able to get information quickly, and that's really how we help you enforce policy. Well, workload identity is the key phrase there, right? So we have traditionally been an infrastructure security organization. We expanded into application security in the sense that we could only allow certain people to access a URL, like a domain, get access to an application. But the future, right, is identity between applications and between services. You have the SPIFFE standard that is here at CNCF, that's a project. You have the Spire reference implementation. We are going to be an equivalent to Spire. We have just shipped workload identity as a feature using SPIFFE as the standard. So we federate with Spire. We can do everything with Teleport. I think we're a little bit easier to deploy and manage. And you can actually set up now identities between your applications so that the payment service knows that the cart service is the only thing that can call it, and it can guarantee that that's what just sent this request. Yeah, so on the horizon is more policy, and in a really good way. I actually just had someone earlier saying, we use AWS and GCP and Azure, and every time we make a role, we have to make the role 3 different ways, and they all look different, and it's a huge pain. And what we have coming is not just being able to read policy from those places, but actually being able to write policy. So it's unified policy management. You write a policy or a role once, and we'll put it everywhere that you have resources. And so it's just going to make everyone's life simpler, especially in a multi-cloud environment.